Hey Reflections. So today, oh man, today was really, really difficult. Today was super difficult, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason, and I am so used to by now of just basically clearing out pretty much everybody in my life. And this is something I've been doing since I woke up. And this was something I was doing even before I woke up. And so everything started happening to me around 2012. 2012, my whole entire life was changing. Really bad things were happening. And I mean really, really, really bad things were happening to me. And it was really, really difficult for me at the time to see why those things were happening to me. But in the end, it all worked itself out. And for me, it was changing jobs. It was getting fired from jobs. It was just so many things just guiding me to, I feel, that one state. And that was in that DMT state when my soul had finally expressed itself. So I find that everything is synchronistic. And for me, the most difficult part was letting go of those negative situations or the negative people or just anything in general, because I am a Capricorn. I do not like change. I don't like change at all. It terrifies me. In fact, I think that's why my journey has been so long. It's that I have been resistant to change for so long. And especially in those states that I've been, I always have one thing that's holding me back, and it was my ego, my identification with ego, my identification with myself, my identification with my family, with my friends. And that was always the first thing that I had thought of when I was going into these states. And that's when I realized I had to change that. I have to change that. You know what I mean? So the first thing was getting rid of all of the people that they didn't get me, and they were just sucking my energy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't deal with it. Not anymore. Maybe in 2012, 2013, I probably would have dealt with that, but not anymore. You know what I mean? Anything that is remotely, unconscious, I like to say, because here's the thing. When DMT people talk, we express ourselves and we are respectful of each other. You know what I mean? That's just how psychedelic people are. But when it comes to family and friends that have never taken any psychedelics, or that don't understand the growth or the change that you're going through, or they think you're crazy, or, like they judge you, or anything like that, I just choose to stop and to distance myself. And that's for protection for myself, not because I'm a mean person, not because I don't care about you. It's because I love myself. And I love myself more than I love somebody else that thinks, or they are programmed to think, that loving somebody is abuse or verbal abuse or, emotional abuse or anything like that, or anything that doesn't feel good. I don't take it anymore. And I used to think that when somebody acted this way, it was out of love. And I realized, no, it's not. So for me, like, dealing with all of that over the past few years have made me very isolated. And that has made me learn to love myself a lot more and to not deal with anything. So be kind, be loving, be blissful, be light, but don't take shit. And that's why whenever anybody is just constantly negative, or they say that they're my friend but they don't act that way, or they say that they love me and they don't act that way, then what I do is I disappear. I disappear out of love for myself. And that's what I've been doing recently. And yeah, my video completely cut off again. But what I've realized is that people are programmed a certain way. And say I haven't talked to a family member in forever or a friend in forever, and the first thing they do is they are confrontational or they are judgmental or they're whatever. No contact at all. No contact at all. Why? Because I love myself and I care about myself and I'm here for a purpose and a reason, and that's what I want to stick to. Now, I've used my name in my YouTube channel, and I feel that because I've done that, I've still extended a hand to them, you know what I mean? Because you could always find me, obviously. You know, I use my email address and I put out myself, I put my name associated to it. So even though I don't talk to them, I am still compassionate towards them, and I am still hopefully getting my message across to them because they know exactly what I do and what I'm about, and they know my YouTube channel. So even though I have stopped talking to you because I protect myself, because I am exercising spiritual hygiene, because you are who you hang out with. So because I've done that, I've just been so aware, and I've just stopped dealing with unnecessary things, unnecessary drama. And that's been a learning curve, you know, like that's something I've had to learn to let go. You know, nothing stays the same. Learn to let go of jobs, let go of friends, let go of family members, let go of any situation that you're in. Just learn to let go of it. And it will always, you know, something always will come to replace it. And I've seen that. I've seen that with friends. I've seen that with circumstances. I've seen that with jobs. And I've realized that I am creating my reality. So what do I want my reality to be? Do I want it to be toxic, or do I want it to be blissful and loving? I choose love. I choose bliss. That's the reality I choose. And I stick with that. I stick with that. So I have learned to basically give up all of these things. And it's been a wonderful experience and a very hard experience at the same time. I'm not going to say it's not. It's been an easy ride. It's been so difficult. And I've spent so many nights crying and not understanding why I had to do this. But I wanted to share with you a technique that I've done because I had this experience with somebody and it just got me in a really, really low vibration, and it just, I felt sad. I felt sad because, you know, I recognized the generational abuse through these persons' actions and belief systems, and how that molded and shaped, you know, my family, and how that molded and shaped me. And even though I was very hurt and annoyed that this person couldn't see my perspective, I also am thankful that they have this perspective, because that was able to give me the perspective that I have to be able to do what I am doing today. And it's that weird. It's just weird because you're thankful and you're sad at the same time. So this is a technique that I used. I had used binaural beats because I think it was InfiniteClockWorkMachines, another YouTuber, that had suggested I use, great channel, by the way. I'd look him up. He was saying that I should use binaural beats and with headphones, and I was always using binaural beats, but I was never using them with headphones. And I also took some Oramus. I took a very small amount of Oramus because I'm very sensitive to anything, really. and I opened up a map coning. And now if you don't know what map conings are, Maps is a book written by Michelle Small-Wright. I talk about this a lot because she works with nature intelligence. Now, as a person that has done psychedelics before, I've realized that there is an underlying intelligence to nature. And because of that, I realized that I really like working with nature spirits. So I worked with the Maps book, and I'll leave the description down below. I worked with that. I worked with Ormus, and I worked with these binaural beats, and my whole entire body was buzzing, like the buzzing you feel when you are in the most intense psychedelic experience ever, DMT. And that's when I realized, whoa, this is some interesting stuff. So if you combine different grounding techniques, you can experience very blissful states. And I'm so thankful and lucky that I'm able to do this, and that's why I kind of just wanted to share it with you. I done a map coning. I felt very just, you know, when you don't understand something and you know it's all going to work out for the best, and you're just clearing out all these energies, and you're clearing out all these just old patterns, and you're clearing out everything in your life that doesn't really serve you. And it just sucks. You know, it's this feeling of just, you know, just not good, just not good. And so I use the Ormus, because we all feel that way. Let's be honest, we all feel that way. Not one person is constantly blissful and at one with everybody, especially in this very weird situation we have going on in the world. And it really took me back to that oneness. It really took me back to that buzzing. And I don't know if anybody's experienced this on DMT going into singularity, but there's this shepherd's tone. My video completely shut off again. I know I have to delete some things on my camera. But anyway, so there is a shepherd's tone, and when you're in this DMT space, and a shepherd's tone is a fractal or an infinite tone going into infinity, and it's kind of just like, you know, it goes up and up and up and up and up, and it's going to an infinite high frequency. And this is what you hear, this buzzing in certain states. And also Terence McKenna talks about the buzzing that you hear on mushrooms. So I was able to have that buzzing effect with only Maps, Ormus, and binaural beats. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. And it's something you can do without psychedelics. You know what I mean? If you're in a really weird state, if you're in this, you know, you just had this really weird, you know, experience with someone and you want to cleanse yourself, the first thing I'll do is just cleanse with a whole bunch of sage everywhere. And then I will, you know, take some Ormus and then go into myself and go into, you know, lucid states and meditation while I am in a map coning, while I'm listening to binaural beats, and that helps so much. So anyway, reflections, I want to know, how are you guys holding up? How is life with you guys? How are you doing during this really weird situation that we have going on in the world? How are you guys holding up? Anyway, reflections, I hope you're having an awesome, awesome, awesome day.